Hey guys, gonna wait a minute and see if I get anybody in here. Hey, hey, how are you? Excuse me, I'm still sick. How are you? All right, so I thought we would just kind of check in on. There's not really a lot of updates on Kiely or Debbie, but I thought we could just kind of talk about what everybody is thinking about these cases. Who do you want to start with, Kiely or Debbie? Oh no, be safe, Ramblin' Rome. Are you near Tampa? All right, so I guess let's talk Kiely first. So it came out that she's been cremated, and I guess it happened before the celebration of life. So the only concerning thing, I guess, about that is if anybody would want to do like a second autopsy, say the dad or the grandpa didn't agree with the first one, the findings in the first one, and they wanted to do a second one, that's not going to be possible. So hopefully they took plenty of samples during the initial autopsy in case anything needs to be rechecked as far as the tox screen and things like that. But as far as physical injuries to the body and things like that, I guess we're going to have to just depend on the photographs that were taken, hopefully. And hopefully they did a thorough written report. But the way this investigation has gone to this point, I don't know how much we can trust that. I mean, we know the sheriff, Shannon Moon, is not just the sheriff, but she's the coroner. Now, obviously, she wouldn't be the one doing the autopsy, but who did she get to do it? Was it just some random person at the hospital that, maybe isn't as forensically inclined, that just do your normal autopsy when people pass away at the hospital? I mean, I would want so much done. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I feel like at this point, even if it was somehow an accident, when they come out and they try to sweep it under the rug and say it's an accident, nobody's going to believe it. They're going to have some very hard proof to show us before anybody's going to believe it. They have screwed this up from the jump. I heard that when they had their divers out there, they were told to only go like within 25 feet out from the bank, and they were more looking for her phone than the car. Hi, Selena. Hi, Thor. Selena, are you guys supposed to get anything from this hurricane? But we know Adventures with Purpose, they found her 50 feet out. So why did they specifically limit them to 25 feet? So that was weird. Obviously, they missed her car if it was there. They've messed up so much. They flipped the car without trying to contain what was inside. They flipped it with her in there, which is disturbing to think about. When all the stuff fell out of the car, they didn't go back to collect it. I'm very angry with the way that this investigation has gone. And they don't even seem that interested. I think they just want it to be over so they can move on. I don't know that they're that interested in really coming up with the truth at this point. And that bothers me. And the mom, I think she accepted it was an accident a long time ago. But hopefully the dad and the grandpa will push for answers of what really happened, because this isn't a case just about Kiely, but it's something that police need to look at and learn from so they can do better in the future, so some other family doesn't have to go through this kind of crap. I mean, imagine if this was your child and you're watching law enforcement do the job that they've done here. I would be so angry. I would be on them constantly. Hey, Brett! My son's in here, you guys. Everybody say hi to Brett. Brett, I'm sick still. I dragged my butt out of bed to do this. I did a live last night with Doug at No Thanks. I did it from bed. I was sick. No makeup. It was bad. I didn't upload it here because I'd probably scare you if you saw me. Let's see, what else about Kiely? Oh, have you guys seen Saint Sammy since she's gone to college? She's posting TikToks with her roommates, and she's wearing those stupid heart-shaped glasses that she wore to Kiely's memorial in every one of her freaking videos. She really loves those glasses. Oh, you know what, guys? Wouldn't it be awesome if Autumn Fragrance jumped in the chat? Especially since we're talking about Saint Sammy. Now that would make for a fun live. Thank you, Brett. I hope so, too. I was taking a nap and then the dogs woke me up, so I figured I would jump on here. I owe you guys a live. Anyway, last night on No Thanks, we were talking about Debbie Collier from Georgia, and I don't know how much you guys have been following that, but I've really ruled the husband out at this point. I would really be surprised if he's involved. I think the boyfriend is very involved, and I don't know that her daughter was directly involved in what happened. She may have helped plan it, and I know that she knows what happened, but I feel like this has the boyfriend's name written all over it. And it's awful. The brother of Amanda, Debbie's son, spoke out, and he said such wonderful things about his mother. And, you know, he's really disturbed by the details that have come out about how his mom was found, the positioning of her body, the fact that she wasn't wearing any clothes. And I feel bad for him. And sorry, dog coughing. He kind of, hold on. Sorry. My husband left to pick up my daughter, and I swear when I'm alone, they think they're protecting me from, like, the wind blowing outside or something. Anyway, the brother kind of made it sound like there was some tension in the relationship, maybe between the mom and the daughter. And like I said, I feel like this could just be the parents, Steve and Debbie, the stepdad and the mom, finally got to the point that they said, hey, you're going to have to pick. It's going to be him or we're cutting you off. Because they had been ordered legally to stay away from each other. They weren't doing it. They kept getting arrested. Brett, if you're still on here, that's Odie. Anyway, I think that they probably finally got fed up, hush it, with the boyfriend and the daughter constantly getting arrested for domestic violence, constantly be told to stay away from each other, and just getting back together over and over and over. They both had drug problems. They were living in a house owned by Steve, so they were probably living rent-free. Cody! Oh, and the reason you guys aren't going to meet Steve today, Steve the house chicken pulled some ninja maneuvers on me today. I was getting him his water and his food, and I don't know, if you're new here, you might not know, but he lost his feet. This dude, I put his water in his little coop, and he jumped up and kind of tried to fly towards the door. So I put his water down really fast, and I put my hand up to stop him, and he grabbed right here, this part of your hand, with his beak and wouldn't let go. And I have like a beak mark now on my hand, and he scared me so bad I stumbled backwards, and so he's in timeout. So you won't be meeting Steve today. He has been a bad boy. He's on lockdown. I was gonna give him treats today, even though it's not Friday, and Friday's when he gets his treats. Yeah, no treats for Steve today. He's on my list. Anyway, back to Debbie. I think the night before, when the neighbor heard the arguing and screaming, it was probably, no, you're not eating him when you come home, Brett Michael. It was probably an argument between Debbie and her daughter. And the daughter was asking for money. Debbie probably said no. And then what happened the next day? Happened the next day. I don't know. That's where I'm at. The police have told people in the area that there is no threat. There's no predator out there. They don't need to be worried that this was a targeted attack. So I feel like, even though they haven't come out and named a suspect or persons of interest, I think they know who they're looking at. And I don't feel like it is, yes, I'm a Poison fan, but his name, if I tell you the story, you won't believe it. But I think that there will be an arrest soon. I'm hoping by the 1st of October. Okay, so I'll tell you the story. And Brett, if you're in here, get ready. My mom told me when she was pregnant with me, she thought I was going to be a boy. And if I was, she was going to name me Brett with 2 T's. And I like the name Brett. When I met my husband, he also wanted a kid named Brett. And yes, I was a Poison fan, but the reason his name is Brett Michael is his godfather's name is Michael. He's my brother. And his grandpa's middle name is Michael. So, Brett Michael. Now go ahead and tell me that you don't believe me. So, yes, that's where Brett Michael came from. So, I don't know what you guys think about Debbie, but I think it's going to be wrapped up pretty soon. And I definitely think the boyfriend will be getting arrested and possibly the daughter. The fact that they found her car right before Victory Home Lane and there is an all male rehab on Victory Home Lane. The boyfriend was supposed to check into rehab and show proof to the court within 20 days. It's just, it's too many coincidences. There's no way that the boyfriend's not involved. Brett Michaels was a hot chick in the 80s now. He had hair as big as mine. We used to have these things in high school called air band, where you pretend to play the instruments, and I was always the lead singer, and I was Brett Michaels, in case anybody cares. Got in trouble by the principal for doing Talk Dirty to me. After that, they had to screen our music before we were allowed to perform. Fun fact. Now back to Kiely. Did you guys hear that Jagger and Kate are living at the lodge with Lindsay? How weird is that? I heard at first Jagger was living at the lodge, and the lodge is reopened for fall. And I heard Jagger was living there, and I thought, wow, that is really weird. And now it's come out that it's not just Jagger, it's Jagger and Kate. So I thought that was kind of interesting. The mom, she was hanging all over Sammy in those pictures that I hate. And she's so protective of these teens. And now she has them living with her at the lodge. I don't know. Have you guys heard of the Skylar Niece case? Because this is starting to remind me more and more of Skylar Niece. The longer it goes. If you're not familiar, basically, Skylar was friends with this girl, and another girl moved to town. So the two girls that were friends became three girls that were friends. Well, the two got really close and decided that they just didn't like Skylar anymore. So they were going to get rid of her. And they picked her up one night. She snuck out her window. They picked her up to go driving around, and I don't know, I think they were going to go smoke pot or something. I don't really remember the details of why. That's not important. What is important is the next day Skylar was missing. And of course, the friends rallied around the parents. They were helping them search and, going to the mom and comforting her and sitting in Skylar's room and all this. And those two were actually the ones that did it. One of them had a breakdown, ended up in a mental hospital and cracked. And I think she was the first one to spill. But apparently when they did it, they said like 1, 2, 3, and then they attacked her and killed her. And one of them had even tweeted, wow, we really did go on 3, didn't we? And that's what this case is starting to remind me of, is how those friends acted in the Skylar Niece case with the mom. Because the mom, she got mad at the police for even insinuating that Skylar's friends could have been involved. And I feel like that's where Lindsay's at. That if they even try to say Sammy, Kate, Jagger, Mags, any of them were involved, Lindsay's going to go off. So, I don't know. I mean, they may not be involved any more than knowing what happened, but they're involved. And they're getting close with Lindsay, I think, to kind of keep her under control, to keep pushing the narrative that it was an accident, making sure that she kind of sticks with that narrative and to stay in the loop of what's going on. If Lindsay gets any information from police, they're right there. So they're going to know what's going on in the investigation. I don't know. It's just all too weird. It's all too weird. You're right. Yeah, even seasoned cops find it suspicious. There are so many that have come out and talked about what a mess this investigation is. And I am not in any way, shape, or form anti-law enforcement, but I'm also not afraid to call out when I see them messing up. And this is a mess. Hi, Princess Megan, Elsa. Hey, Mel Mac. No, it bothers me because, I mean, I'm glad Placer County is out of it because so much corruption, and we know there were kids there that have connections to them, but there's kids there that have connections in other police departments. Sammy's parents' private investigation firm, they're government contractors. They work for the government. I mean, this whole thing just stinks to high heaven. And I don't know if we're ever really going to get the truth unless some other independent outside agency comes in and does a review of it. But with Kiely being cremated, I think we lost a lot of the answers right there. Hopefully the FBI found something when they processed the car. I don't know. And AWP, they have 2 more videos, but I guess if they go with it being an accident, they're not going to release them. And that's a shame because I feel like we should have the right to see those videos so we can make up our own minds about what we think when we see what they saw. I mean, I respect them for respecting the decision of law enforcement, but at the same time, even if they just did it for members only, I would really like to see what they saw. Yes, Sammy, big red flags. Yes, Brett, every day. It's like Gabby Petito, where every day it seemed like something came out. And Brett and I, he's my son that lives in Massachusetts, by the way. He's my oldest that I talk about. Brett and I, every day, nearly, talk about true crime. And we were so into the Gabby Petito case. And every time something came out, we're like, instead of learning more, we just have more questions. And that's kind of how Kiely's case has been. It's like the more we find out, the more we don't know. You know, how did they miss her car? Was that really her car at Boca the next day? When did the car go in the lake? But most importantly, how did she die? And why did they cremate her so fast? I wonder if the mom made that decision and, like, did she even talk to the dad about it? I don't think the dad would have wanted it done that quickly. I really don't. I mean, even if they had planned on cremating her, I think I would have waited because her death certificate, her cause of death is still pending. I don't think I would have wanted anything done with that body until her cause of death was determined. They're an intentional community. It's cooperative, almost verging on cult-like. I believe it. I've been looking into that community a lot. So many people have brought things to my attention, and there have been so many bodies found in that Truckee River. It's crazy. And when you read the articles, a lot of them will say, you know, that it hasn't been determined. Sometimes they're not even identified. Sometimes it says like they don't know how they died or whatever. And then there's no follow-up. And somebody told me that in a span of like a year, I think there were 6 bodies found in the Truckee River, and all of them were ruled an accident. Even one that had their, I think it was their hands and feet tied, but it was an accident. One was found near a bridge. Their car was left running on the bridge. So I assume they probably think he jumped. I don't know. But it's insane how many bodies are found in that river. And then they just sweep it under the rug. And some people say it's because it's a tourist town. I don't know that much about it, but I know Tahoe is a tourist town. And some people think that it's just to protect the reputation of the town. You know, if somebody hears there was a murder there, they're not going to want to go there. But at this point, who's going to want to go there? Everybody knows what happened. Everybody knows about Kiely. And like I said, if they come out and say it's an accident, I don't know how many people are going to believe that, except maybe the people right there. Somebody had commented to me, I believe it was yesterday, that they work nearby Truckee, and they had mentioned this case when they had some customers come in, and the customers were like, oh yeah, you know, talking about the girl that died in the accident. So it seems like it's already spread around there that, yeah, this was an accident. And everybody seems fine with that. And I don't understand it. Oh, good. Now Steve's going to start yelling. Okay, let's see the comments. Or they just disappear. Exactly. Yes, Dennis, exactly. If it was accidental, I would have thought they could have made us all shut up and go away, which is allegedly what they want us to do, by just coming out and say we don't suspect foul play or something. There's several different ways that they could have come out and told us without impeding on their investigation. If they were going to rule it an accident, they could have come out and said so many different things. I don't know. I probably still wouldn't have shut up and gone away because I didn't buy it from the jump. There was no way. And with her being in the hatch, I mean, I tried to convince myself that, okay, she could have gone in and everybody was saying, you know, chasing the air bubble to the back. But you got the windows, right? The one window is completely either all the way down or busted out. And then the one right behind her, if she was in the driver's seat, is halfway down. And when the car flips, and if you look at a picture of a CRV of the interior and you flip it over, it would be quite a feat trying to work your way upside down in the dark through there to get into the back. And I think it would be like one shot out of a million that her body actually could float the right way, you know, up and around and through to get to the back. So I really feel like she was back there when it went in. I don't know if she went back there to sleep and somebody put it in or somebody put her in the back, but yeah, and the water in the lungs with her, if she was in there for 2 weeks, there's going to be some water in her lungs just from the seepage of the water as decomp occurred. But if you drown, there's going to be a huge amount difference, I guess is the best way to say it. If you drown, you're going to have a lot of water in your lungs, right? And it's going to be in your stomach because you're swallowing that water, trying to gasp for air. So it's going to be in your lungs, it's going to be in your stomach, it's going to be everywhere. So I would think that even if there's water in her lungs, the amount of water in her lungs should be able to tell them whether or not she was alive when she went into the water. But what if she, like my theory has always been somebody slipped her something in her drink. What if she was drugged and passed out? So yeah, she was alive when she went into the water, but she was maybe OD'd and could not get herself out for whatever reason. Okay, then you're going to have water in her lungs and her stomach and all that, and it is going to look like she drowned, but that doesn't make it an accident. So even if she went in alive and drowned, it could still be foul play, in my opinion. Pelosi owns a condo in Truckee. Are you kidding me? Of course she does. Yeah, Princess Megan. Yeah, it would swell from the gases. It bloats them up, and that's what makes them float. Yeah, Tracy, that disturbed me too. That they flipped that car with her body in there. So yeah, could there have been any additional damage? And also, I know they took videos, but I would have liked to have seen exactly how and where she was positioned prior to the flip. Yeah, fentanyl, I think, is a very good possibility, Dennis, because it is insane if you look at the number of fentanyl busts they have made in that area just in the last couple of months. Eudora's Mama's Garden, hello. I'm glad you made it. Yeah, the warm water I think is going to be an issue. If it was colder water, I think she would have been better preserved. I mean, it still would have been difficult after 2 weeks, but when I was going to school and we were learning about doing autopsies, the vitreous fluid in your eyes is a really good source for finding the toxicology. So hopefully they'll get good answers from that. Oh, yeah, definitely. Because she was a tiny girl, Dennis. I don't know. Do you think she even weighed 115? Probably not. Yeah, I think there's a lot of elite people in that area. Nevada County, Placer County, Truckee. Um, Brett, we are not supposed to get an update until November, beginning of November. There was a rumor, it was last week we were supposed to get an update, but it was just a rumor. And Nevada County came back. So I don't know if they're still waiting for talks or what. Yeah, yeah, Eudora's Mama's Garden. The fish swimming in and out of that car. Yeah, not a good sign. Because they can definitely, they're little, but they can do damage. Yeah, Mur has a burr. When we lived in Illinois, we had a neighbor and he had hurt his back and they gave him fentanyl patches. And one day my kids were friends with their kids and the ambulance came down there and he died. He went to bed, he went to sleep, like to take a nap, and he died. And there was some sort of defect in the patch, like some sort of a tear or something that they didn't know was there. And so much got into his system at one time that it killed him. And my friend, his wife, actually won a lawsuit against them because of his death. It was horrible. It was so crazy because fentanyl wasn't huge then. And yeah, it scared me to death. Every time I heard about fentanyl after that, I was terrified. Yeah, she was very tall. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, CHP was doing the like accident investigation. They came out there to, I guess you know how they recreate what could have happened. I guess that's why CHP was there. And yeah, I do think that they've wrapped up. I think it's just they did the autopsy, but I guess we're just waiting on talks. I don't know. They said that could be 4 to 6 weeks. So, okay, Cooper, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was terrible. It was so scary when that happened to our friends. Yeah, patches. It was some sort of a pain patch that he put on his back where he had the pain. So he would just put the patch on there, and then I guess it was supposed to have a controlled amount that would come out ever so often to help keep the pain under control. And instead of coming out in that controlled amount, I guess it all came at one time. And it was basically an overdose. He just quit breathing. He just never woke up. Yeah, Kay, yeah, I don't blame you. It scared me to death. I was like, nope, don't want no part of that stuff. Shoot, I got a lidocaine patch for pain one time and I was freaking out about that. I'm pretty sure I can't overdose on lidocaine, but I was like, oh my God, what if there's a tear in it? So, you guys, tell me, what do you think about Sammy showing out on TikTok all the time now that she's at school, not a care in the world, drinking, partying, singing still with those stupid sunglasses? And what do you think about Jagger and Kate moving in with Lindsay? Are you guys as bothered by it as I am? Or, I mean, Sammy just annoys me no matter what she's doing. No, you're welcome, Kay. I don't like to hear that anybody has to go through anything like that. I'm trying to think some other cases. Oh, I was going to tell you guys the one that pretty much started my channel. I started researching, it's a cold case murder here in Oklahoma. It happened 16 years ago today, as a matter of fact. Um, a Native American young man was found murdered in his apartment. His mom lived right underneath him. And the night before she was going to bring him some dinner, he fell asleep on the couch. He had left the door unlocked for his mom to come in and bring the food. The next day she got up. Well, she heard a noise in the night, like a bump. She said it sounded like he was moving furniture. And the next day she went to work. She got a call that she needed to come back because something was going on at his apartment. And he was found lying in his floor with his wrist and ankles bound. And he had been shot one time. And he was dead. He had a little bit of bruising and stuff. It looked like there was some sort of a scuffle. Um, OSBI, Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. So Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation had it. It happened in Seminole, Oklahoma. And that police department pretty much handed it off to OSBI, who had it for 15 years. And then they couldn't get anywhere with it, and they gave it to the Bureau of Indian Affairs this year. We have one guy at the Bureau of Indian Affairs to handle all the cases in Oklahoma, so it's going nowhere. And I have been working with this family since, I feel like it was February we started talking. I have a whole, you know how I am with my notebooks. I have a whole big book of research about this case. I have been talking to people close to the situation, I'll say. One that he's on the list of suspects, like to the point that I had formed a fake friendship with him to get information. I'm really into this case, and the family's been dealing with a lot of things here lately, so we haven't been able to meet recently, but I think I'm going to go ahead and start putting out episodes about it because I want this story out there. With it being 16 years today, it bothers me because to so many of us here, anybody that's close with the investigation, it's pretty obvious who it was. When they put posters up around town, people would write the name of the person on the poster of who they think it was. He has confronted the man's family in public. He goes around pretty much bragging openly in town, but he's never been arrested. I think you guys will like this case. I'm going to do it kind of a series because there's so much that, you know, I'll have maybe 3 or 4 episodes at least. I went with the family to the apartment complex where it happened. Walked up the stairs around the balcony to see how much room there was, how close it was. There were people downstairs that kind of kept an eye on the place for him. I took pictures from their viewpoint of what they could have seen that night. Like I said, his mom did live downstairs. She doesn't live there anymore, obviously. But we walked around basically the whole crime scene, and we took videos and we took pictures. So I have a lot to share with you guys about that, and I hope you'll like it. I mean, it's a local case. It's a Native American, which that's where my heart is, but I think you'll be interested. My son was fascinated when I started telling him the story. His name's Brett Wolf. And obviously, when I saw the name Brett, it caught my attention. But when I started looking into it more, and where they live it's within driving distance for me. So I knew I had to get involved. And I've reached out to connections that I have that work for the federal government to try to get them to pull some strings for me, to try to get answers for this family. We are trying to get a private investigator hired. I talked to one who has connections with a lawyer to where we can file paperwork in court and get access to more of the records. The autopsy that I got had more information in it than even the family knew. The first time we met and I started talking about certain things that were listed in the autopsy, they didn't even know it. So it's a mess. Yeah, Brett. Like I said, today it's been 16 years, so it's time. Let's see, you know how many people that aren't into true crime? Yeah. Yeah, it's always been there. And I mean, think about it, you know, people used to talk about serial killers all the time, but we don't really have them anymore. I guess it's because we have so much more like surveillance and digital evidence and ways to track people now. I know they're still out there, but it's not like, you know, we don't have a BTK or a Ted Bundy running around out there these days. Originally, they tried to make Debbie Collier's case out like, oh, it might be a serial killer in the making, and I don't think so. I mean, what would they call him? The Venmo killer? The serial killer that makes you send Venmos to your children before he kills you? I mean, no. Or Dahmer. Yes, thanks, Brett. Have you guys watched the Dahmer thing on Netflix? My kids are making me watch it. Oh, that guy. If I have to hear him say that he loves to cook pork chops and his family sent him a bunch of meat and it all went bad one more time, I swear. Yeah, I don't know. Tracy, I don't think anybody set out to murder Kiely that night. I don't feel like this was like premeditated murder. I feel like it was more of a bullying, hazing type thing. Like maybe they were trying to embarrass her. They probably slipped something in her drink to mess her up, to make fun of her or get her to do something silly or whatever. And she either OD'd or, something bad happened. Something went wrong. It could have even been the Fight Club thing. What if she and Sammy were fighting and Sammy hit her and she fell and hit her head? I mean, I really don't think anybody intended for her to die that night. At least I hope not. Yeah, Vicky, it's very weird with them living there. I can't imagine just having my kids' friends move in with me after the fact. Yes, Thor. Yeah, the snorkel in the Walmart swim feet, right? When I saw that video, I'm like, are you kidding me? And do you remember the divers were saying, like, oh, it's so hard to see in the water? When Check It TV put his phone in the water, I could see just fine. No, Janet, I don't think they're tapering off. I just think that they're better at hiding themselves now because we don't hear about them as much. I'm quite sure they're out there. Sorry, guys. I'm going to stay on here for about 10 more minutes. I think you guys have heard enough of the dogs. You're probably getting sick of them, aren't you? Exactly, Kate Cooper. It's accidental in the sense that I don't think it was premeditated for her to die. But it's not an accident like, oh, it's a DUI and she accidentally took a wrong turn and drove into the lake. I think there was definitely foul play involved in her death. She may have went to her car to sleep it off. They went back and she had passed and they freaked out and put her in the water. I don't know. Yes, Princess Megan. I've got 10 dogs and they are insanely loud. That's not even all of them. Just the little ones are in the house right now. And like I said, my daughter's been gone for, God, I don't know, 3 weeks maybe, at her friend's house in the Ozarks. And my husband went to pick her up. So they're meeting halfway. They're meeting in Joplin. And when the dogs know I'm here by myself, I don't know if it's because I have seizures, so they get very protective of me. And they hear the wind blow and they think somebody's coming to get me. So they're barking not just to be annoying, they're barking because they're trying to protect me, I think. You love the zoo? Yeah. They make me nuts, but I love them. Even Steve with his ninja moves biting me today. I still love that guy. No, Eudora's Mama's Garden. You must have missed it. Steve is in lockdown. He is in timeout today. Steve was a bad boy. I went to get him his food and water today. When I set his water down, remember, he doesn't have feet, but he jumped up like a ninja chicken and flew towards the door. And I put my hand up to stop him because I didn't want him to jump out on top of the dogs. And when I did that, he clamped down on this part of my hand really hard. And when I pulled my hand back, I have a mark from his beak now. I stumbled back and I almost fell. So he was going to get treats today and he did not get any treats because he was bad. He normally is so good for me. But today he decided to try to be a ninja and I wasn't happy. So Steve is in timeout. But next time, definitely. Yeah. Yes, he's a ninja chicken. And you should have seen my husband's face when he came in and I was like, oh, you missed all the excitement. And he said, what? And I said, I almost fell because of Steve. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, he pulled out his ninja moves. And yeah, my husband, he wasn't impressed. But yeah, he doesn't have feet. But man, he pulled those moves out today. Like, I don't know where they came from, but I had the door open. I'm putting the water in. And he just jumps straight up and goes forward kind of at the same time. So my reaction was just to block to keep him away from the dogs, and he just clamped onto here and would not let go. And it hurt. He normally loves me. He never really bites me. I don't know. Yes, he is in timeout. You know, he's lucky. I let him watch Young and the Restless today, which was after he got in trouble. But I almost didn't let him watch his soap opera today because I was so angry with him. But I did go ahead and let him watch his soap opera today because, you know, I don't want him to be behind, not know what's going on. Now, at least he's being quiet now. Yeah, Murr has a burr. The divers that initially went in, they were told to search a 25 feet area away from the shore. And they were told they were looking for the phone. Nobody said anything about looking for the car. It was just the phone. And then when AWP went, you know, initially they told them they didn't need to look at Prosser, that it had been searched extensively. It had been cleared. And they found her about 50 feet out. Yeah, yeah, Dennis, they made them look really bad. Really bad. Tracy, my husband always said, Steve, he's what they call a bantam chicken. He's like a mini chicken. So he's not as big of a rooster as the rest of ours that are outside. He's pretty small. And yeah, my husband always says he's going to have Steve for a snack. That he's snack size. He's the perfect size for a snack, like for chicken nuggets or something. But yeah, I won't let him eat him. I won't let my husband eat any of our chickens. We get eggs from them and we eat a lot of chicken, but I just can't bring myself to eat my chickens. I know that's weird, right? Yeah, AWP did get weird vibes the whole time they were there. And I mean, you know, dad and grandpa, which it blows my mind that grandpa isn't dad's dad. Grandpa is Lindsay's dad. And he's always with Kylie's dad. They seem to want the answers. They were happy about AWP. And Lindsay and Jagger and Sammy and all of them, they're furious at AWP. The people that should want answers are mad at the people that found her. It makes no sense whatsoever. I just hope that grandpa and dad keep pushing and put pressure on law enforcement to get to the truth. And like Lindsay being mad because Adventures with Purpose didn't call her while she was out having sushi or whatever. How come she's not mad? Her dad was right there. How come she's not mad that her dad didn't call her or her ex-husband didn't call her? It makes no sense. Instead of being mad at Adventures with Purpose, be mad at them. No, Princess, I don't think he got mad at AWP. He was mad because he said, how did law enforcement miss it? And then he said that he needed to leave because he didn't want to see his daughter like that when they pulled her out of the water. And grandpa said, I can't leave my granddaughter. And he sat there for the rest of the day until they pulled her out. Yeah, Dennis, the mom thanked LE a bunch. She thanked Truckee PD 3 times at the Celebration for Life, and I didn't even know how they were involved. And she thanked everybody for sandwiches and coffee and loaning them tables and stuff like that. But she said nothing about AWP. But no, I don't blame the dad for leaving. If that was one of my kids, I would not want to see them in that state, in that vehicle. I probably would have stayed, but it would have been hard. But the grandpa, it broke my heart because he was like, I can't leave my granddaughter. No, nothing from stepdad. Mm-mm. He's been around. It's such a contrast from Gabby, too. You know, the mom, the dad, and the step-parents in the Gabby Petito case really came together. Odie! They really came together. They stood together. They were always together. They're still together in this lawsuit against the Laundries. They really presented a united front the whole time. And these parents, not so much. I mean, even in Dylan Rounds, the mom and dad are divorced, but when they do interviews and stuff, they're together. But Kiely's family, they're very different. To put it mildly, they're very different. The mom is. The dad and the grandpa seem like how I would think I would be acting. You know, the dad was seen at Prosser for days after they pulled the car out, just staring out into the water. And I could see myself doing that. You'd just be looking out there wondering, well, for one, how did she get there? And for two, how did they not find her sooner? I think so too, Eudora. I'm really wondering, the grandpa owns the lodge and it was for sale. Is that because problems with the daughter? I don't know. Exactly, Kay. I really like the way Gabby's family handled it too. Yeah, Vicky, I live in the middle of nowhere. That's why it's called This Country Girl's Life. When I found this property, I asked the realtor, I said, what town is this? And she said, it's not really anywhere. She said, we'll have to wait until you get your 911 address. So when I bought the property, I didn't even know where I was at, other than somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. Yeah, we have a lot of animals. We have guineas and chickens outside, a fly in the house. We have the house chicken and 10 dogs. We've got 25 acres, a couple of creeks, and a big pond that my husband insists on calling a lake. Murr, I don't know if he lives there too. I know that him and Kiely both played music for the guests, though. They were kind of the entertainment. Yeah, Eudora, I think had AWP not come, it would have taken probably, maybe last week or the week before, the tires would have started showing. They've been pumping Prosser out to keep Lake Tahoe full. And with the drought, it's been going down several feet every week. Oh, yeah, for sure, Dennis. She told her to wake her up when she got there, but yeah, I don't think I would have fallen asleep. It wasn't like she was going to be driving for hours and hours and she dozed off. No, she should have been awake. I've heard that too, Tracy. Like, I know there were some charges involving alcohol and possibly DV, but I'm not sure. I found something out. Tracy, you know what? When we get off here, I will go back and pull up his background check that I did and see what I can come up with, and we can talk about that. I wouldn't doubt it, Eudora. Vicky, yeah, we talked a little bit about Debbie. Do you have any questions? I can answer them before we get off here. Yeah, Tracy, me too. We stayed, my parents retired in Illinois, and my husband was stationed at the base there nearby, and my dad got sick, and I stayed there to kind of help my mom out with him. And when my dad passed away, I refused to leave my mom there by herself, so we stayed in the area so we could do her grocery shopping and things like that for her and take care of her. And then when she passed away, we're from Oklahoma originally, and both my parents are buried here at a military cemetery. So I took my inheritance and bought this land because I wanted to come home. And I wanted to be literally in the middle of nowhere. I didn't want like super close neighbors. I wanted space. And I wanted to be able to have animals and things like that. We had always, me and the kids had always talked about having like, you know, the Kennedy compound. We were going to have a compound. Well, my one son, that's in Massachusetts, he got married out there. He got out of the Navy and he married a girl from the East Coast, and they bought a house out in Massachusetts. So I don't know if they'll ever end up out here or not, but my son that is stationed in California right now, he just got married, and him and his wife have already picked out a spot here on the land that when they get out of the Navy, they're going to come live out here with us. So that'll be cool. Oh, thank you, Kay. Hey, Cooper. Wait, what, Mer? What did I miss? Who had their teeth removed? Really? That's crazy. Who would have their teeth removed to prevent dental identification? Wow. Yeah, Brett. I don't know. Are you ever coming back to Oklahoma? Brett, not just the people, I couldn't deal with the weather. The winter. No, thank you. It was actually nice here today, you all. I've been complaining that it's been in the hundreds. It's like only 70 or 80 something today, which for us is really nice. Like 20% humidity. It's awesome. Yeah, Megan, that's kind of like what we were thinking. You know, we don't have that many acres, but we've got 25, and nobody's going to have like a huge house or anything, but we're all going to have plenty and we'll be happy, and it's going to be nice. Especially if I get grandbabies out here. Oh my. I can't wait for grandbabies. They will be so spoiled. I just told my husband we've got a creek, and then, well, we've got two creeks and we've got woods, and it kind of goes around the water. And I was like, ooh, when we have grandkids, we can do like haunted hay rides, and I can decorate down there and make it look like Camp Crystal Lake with Jason. Hopefully they'll like scary movies like me, but if not, I guess not. Yeah, Lori. Yeah, Scott Air Force Base. My parents actually, they retired in New Baden in Clinton County. I don't know if you know where that is, but they lived in New Baden. Yeah, we lived at Scott, where dreams go to die. Well, Brett, we got plenty of room for you anytime you want to come. Okay, I haven't been bothered with mosquitoes too bad this year, but the flies are making me crazy. You got a condo in Salem? I want to go to Salem so bad. I keep telling Brett that every year at Halloween I want to go. Lori, my husband's from Alton. When we first got married, we lived in Godfrey. Bye, General Sorrow. Have a good day. Yeah, the ticks weren't as bad this last year. They were horrible, but they weren't as bad this year. That's why we got the guineas, because they're supposed to eat the ticks. So I'm hoping that that helps. But last year they were so bad. Well, Mur, can you send some of that cold here? I'm tired of being hot. I need cooler weather, and if somebody could send me rain. Like that hurricane is coming to Florida, and I was really hoping that some of that was going through the Gulf would push into Oklahoma, but it's going the wrong way. Oh yeah, I know where Roxana is. I used to work for a company out of Wood River. I was a salesperson and a merchandiser for a company. Yeah, I know the smell of Roxana. Are you, Brett? Yes, Mur. Yes, we can set up an exchange. I will send you heat if you send me cool. And if you throw in some rain, that would be fantastic. All right, guys. Well, it's been an hour. I don't want to hang on here too long and bugs anymore. I'm gonna hop off, but thank you for coming to my first live. Hopefully, we can do this a little more often. I will try to schedule it next time so everybody can be ready. Um, but yeah, thank you guys for coming. Like I said, I'm still sick, but I thought I'd come on and say hi and let you know that I'm still alive. So everybody, take care of yourselves. Have a good night. Brett, the Cowboys are on at 7 tonight. 7:15. So if you're watching the game, get a hold of your mother. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go and get ready for my game, check in and see where my husband and my daughter are. And I guess I will see you all